Hey travel buddies, and welcome back to Keisha's Corner. I'm back with another video on what people really think about Americans. If you saw my last video, Brits on America, then you already know. We had a good time, but we also had some real conversation. I'll link that video below in the description box. Today, we're checking out one of the cutest couples on the internet. Shout out to Luke and Naomi from Two Mad Explorers. They do an amazing job with their content and an amazing job documenting their travel experiences. So in today's video, they leave the UK, head out to New York for what they call a true American experience. So let's see how that goes. Be sure to head over to Two Mad Explorers, subscribe to their channel, show them some love, and be sure to let them know that Keisha's Corner sent you. Let's get into it.
Through the subway system. Naomi is terrified.
Not really terrified, I'm just like, we don't like things that look dirty.
Saw like 5 rats already.
First of all, I'm Naomi because she said, I'm not terrified, I just don't like dirty things. And he said, we've seen about 5 rats already. That's crazy to me. Trip would have been over.
Subway experience. Pretty terrifying. First impressions of it, it's, as you can see, it's kind of like very eerie in some areas, very, very dirty. Like I said, lots of rats. But it is, I guess, like a real raw first look at New York. It makes you feel like you're in the Joker movie, like, you know, like the Joaquin Phoenix walk these.
It's funny that he mentions the movie because, again, I'm on the East Coast in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And I don't frequent New York like that, but obviously New York has a reputation for rats. And the fact that they're saying rats and not mice, like a rat is like a baby possum to me. But yeah, that's the New York experience. At least that's what they show you on TV and in movies. So here he's getting a real life close up of what he's used to seeing on TV and in the movies.
Streets here in Chinatown, movies like Rush Hour 2, The Godfather 2, Gangs of New York, parts of that film. So many different movies that I grew up with were filmed in parts of New York. Naomi and I are quite literally the starter pack when it comes to American migrants. And I'm from Ireland, entirely Irish.
And I'm half German, half Italian.
Here.
Interesting. Half German and half Italian. I can't wait to see what she thinks of the food.
Tria Diner.
Pearl Milling, formerly Aunt Jemima. Really small there on the side.
So sad.
I always thought people bought that syrup because it was Aunt Jemima. Wasn't that like the quality?
Cancel culture. So it used to be Aunt Jemima syrup, but apparently that is racism.
It is. But it's funny. There is a double side to that. There are some people, myself included, because I grew up on Aunt Jemima syrup. So of course we would look for that in the store. That's what your mother bought. That's what you buy when you're able to. But at the same time, as you hear him mention cancel culture, because here in America, that Aunt Jemima has a whole connotation to it, which is not positive. So I think personally, the name change was appropriate. I mean, if it offends somebody, why not?
Thank you so much. Just have a look at this, by the way. This is exactly how I picture American diners to look like, with the boots. This is how they are depicted in Ireland, for sure, and in all of the like American movies. So this is like next level exciting for us right now.
I feel like everything we know is low-key from the movies, so it's like all of our bias that we have coming here is from the movies and from probably recent negative news about New York, so it's like the combination of those two. It's going to be an interesting day.
That is interesting because all they know is what they have seen on TV about America, about New York. So it's interesting what we think is everyday life. Like for me, for instance, if I was there, that would not be a diner I would stop at, because I typically try to avoid diners like that, just for my own preference. But if you are a tourist, that's what makes traveling beautiful. If you are a tourist, you should try everything just to say you did that and you had that experience.
New York has a mayor now, Zohran Mamdani, who is a Muslim, communist, socialist, if I'm getting that right. But yeah, the movie references are real here. Every time I look up at a building, I'm just waiting for Spider-Man to swing by. Thank you.
That's crazy. He's living out his cinema dreams out here in New York.
That's like 10,000 calories right there.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. I like when they say that. Let me rewind that just a little bit.
Here, every time I look up at a building, I'm just waiting for Spider-Man to swing by. Thank you. That's like 10,000 calories right there.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. But Americans, you guys let me know in the comments, what do you think when you saw his plate? Is that a plentiful plate for you, or would you say, man, this is nothing? Or what's your experience like? For them, obviously, that is overkill. It's a lot of food and diabetes.
I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't even know where to start with this. The portion sizes here are really something different. Coming from Europe, where the majority of Europeans have a cigarette and a coffee for breakfast, this is different. Let's try it out. Whipped cream, chocolate chips. Oh man.
You can tell he's not used to even seeing that much on the plate. Look how small he cut his portions. I mean, he just get a little bit of whipped cream on there. That's funny. And don't get it twisted. There are plenty of Americans here that have a coffee and a cigarette for breakfast and start their day, but I wouldn't advise either.
I'll go with a relatively small one. Get some whipped cream on there.
Diabetes.
That's serious.
Well, that might not be part of the community.
I think when Naomi and I have kids, this is the top that we're gonna have to get them. Mommy's little meatball. Every time I see these yellow buses, particularly the yellow school buses, my head just automatically goes, The Simpsons. Interesting.
They're funny, the Simpsons. Yeah, the cheese bus. Everybody knows from when you're younger, you ride the school bus. Typically here in America, they're big yellow buses. You don't think really anything of it. But obviously people from different places, that's remarkable for them. And they think of the Simpsons when they see our buses.
And trucks completely sprayed up, but we've got an open air fruit market just here in the center of Chinatown. Really cool.
Most major cities that you go to will have an open air market just outside farmers market or whatever they call it in that particular town or city. Anywhere you have a bunch of different cultures and different foods, they usually have open market or open air markets like that.
Skyline of New York is just iconic, man. Every single thing that I'm looking at, I'm just like, oh, this is what I thought when I thought about coming to America. But then you look down below and it's the cleanup with the snow and with what Mamdani is doing is not great.
You know, it's funny, just a reference to Coming to America, the movie. I mean, they're really living the Coming to America dream right now. And I would say with that snow, you know, a lot of people on the East Coast are used to snow. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's not. But this particular last snow that we had, a month and maybe 2 weeks, a month and a half, it was still snow on the ground after the major storm. So while it's beautiful when it's white and it's falling from the sky, but once it's over and there's no cleanup, it's an absolute nightmare.
So we're in Little Italy now. It became Little Italy, or known as Little Italy, due to the immigration from Italy, the 19th century, 19th, 20th century as well. It was apparently a lot bigger than what it is today, but it is sort of gradually being sort of swallowed up a bit by the neighboring Chinatown. So I think both of these.
So to me, clearly he's done some research. He knows what's around there, how it started out, which I think is something worthy of pointing out, because most Americans, we see this stuff all the time. But if you ask me when did Little Italy start in any major city, I don't know. But if you were also to ask me when did Chinatown come about and the history behind that, many Americans couldn't tell you that. So I love it when people do their research when you go to different places. I usually do that too when I'm going somewhere international.
These areas are kind of competing for space. So you do see like there's a dim sum, like hot pot restaurants and stuff right next to like pizza places and typical Italian American places.
Even how he references Italian American places, like his wife mentioned she's half Italian, so I'm assuming she might know a little bit more about Italian food than the average consumer. But we would here in America, we just say, hey, you want to go for Italian? You want to go have some Italian food? But really, it is Italian American. And when you get people actually from Italy, Sicily, or wherever they're from, when they come here, it's very Americanized to them.
We are in Little Italy, but you can still smell the mala spice from Chinatown. It's kind of weird. It smells like China here, but we are in Little Italy.
And that's how you know that America is just fighting for space. It's overcrowded. It's so many things going on. Because how are you in Little Italy and still smelling all of the ingredients from the Chinese food place? That has to be a mind blow. I mean, that's crazy. And again, if you have never ridden the subway before, then it's definitely an experience. You should definitely do it. Here we have the metro system, which is very similar to the subway. Myself, I don't particularly care for the subway metro whole get up. It's too many people. It's not always clean. It's always a lot going on. I imagine in New York it's a bit more crowded than what we have in the DMV area, but again, part of being a tourist is getting that feel and being able to say, yeah, I did that.
We're gonna go and check out Central Park, because what would a trip to New York City be without Central Park, right? And this just looks like a mountain of snow. Oh, look, this is the Mir, Harlem Mir, and it's completely frozen over. Wow, look at that.
I love when people are in awe over stuff that we see all the time. Like here on the East Coast, it snows all the time. So any lakes, rivers, ponds, whatever, you may see them all covered in ice. The birds will still do their thing, but it's like an ice skating rink out there. So that's pretty typical.
I think the geese are having street fights here.
These are Harlem geese. These aren't Canadian geese.
Harlem, you hear what she said? She said these are street fighting geese. He said these are Harlem geese. I want to know what the geese are like. Tell me in the comments. Do you have a problem with fighting geese in Harlem?
They're from Harlem. I'm walking here.
Do you think they speak like...
Oh, I'm walking here.
Somebody from Dublin doing a Italian accent is hilarious.
How you doing? How you doing? I'm from Dublin. Yeah, capital city. Yep. It's so much smaller than here.
Just imagine whatever you see will be new to you, so
you're
perfectly happy.
That's very, very true.
You won't know what you missed.
Yeah.
So
wow.
you come back again.
Thank you so much for your help, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So good
a lot of people told us that New Yorkers can be a little bit cold, but so far everybody we've met has been amazing. Everybody.
And that's funny because typically when I go out, I like to different places I've never been. I like to talk to the people on the street if they're willing or whatever. It's always a good time. These ladies are very friendly. A part of the video I didn't put in here, they actually, told them some places that they should go and see. They should go see the clock. It goes off every 30 minutes or on every hour. They were just really nice. But both of these ladies look like New Yorkers.
So helpful.
We're not so bad.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
God bless. Bye-bye.
I feel like because of how much buzz New York gets sort of in the movie industry and on the television and so on, that a lot of people actually have a really high expectation before traveling to New York. But because there was so much negativity recently, especially in the international news about New York, I sort of came here with zero expectations. I was kind of actually preparing myself to be having a bad time, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to level set. You have heard so much about a particular place and then you just come in with a negative connotation or a negative thought about it. But I advise just be open. You never know. If you have no expectation of it, then you never know. It might actually be the time of your life, or it might be everything you thought. But either way, you learn something from it, and now you know.
There's the Rock.
Well, the Rock is in this year just seems to be sort of 100% geared towards consumption, obviously.
Yeah.
Due to where we are, but I feel like the other areas of New York or of Manhattan are sort of more interesting to figure out, to walk around, to learn something or whatever.
Yeah.
Here it's pretty much just the lights and all of the consumption.
Yeah, the number one thing that I think of when I think about America before coming here, obviously, consumerism, credit card debt, and it's also the
Diabetes.
diabetes.
That lady in this diabetes, she cracks me up. Well, yeah, all of those things are valid. If you, when I think of America, I think of credit card debt. I think of overcrowdedness. I think of diabetes and overeating and overconsuming. And that is in major cities. They are split up that way to be. Some part of the city may be historical landmarks. You learn things, enrichment, stuff like that. Other parts of the city are just, hey, come spend your money, come eat here, come enjoy a show here, come shopping here. And the word she uses, consumption, it's spot on, perfect.
It's also the last pillar of freedom of speech, in all seriousness. It's one of the last actual sort of fortresses of freedom of expression. We don't really have that anymore in Europe, so on that note, it is really great to be here. Man.
That's interesting too, because people who are not American citizens and just watching from afar, they tend to think, oh, America has rights and, freedom of expression and speech and all of those things, in which we do, of course. However, depending on who you're talking to and their American experience, how they show up in America, they may tell you, yeah, our rights are violated on a regular basis, or yeah, there's freedom of speech, but with that comes consequence. It's not just a welcoming thing to say what you want and do what you want, whether you're right or wrong.
Look at these. But with freedom of speech comes freedom of religion, so no one's going to hassle them. But it was a shock to see Muslims praying openly in the street in front of people. Haven't seen that yet in Europe. So that's definitely something different. We're here.
That is something different. I have seen people praying in the street before, never per se a Muslim or anything that identified them as a Muslim or anything like that. I don't think I would be too moved by it, though. I mean, a prayer is a prayer as far as I'm concerned, as long, but I can imagine if you came from somewhere else and you don't see that in your hometown and in Europe, they're not kneeling and praying just in the street like that, then that might be... It could be scary to some people, because if all you know is what you have been programmed to think, then that can put you in an awkward position.
For another few days. Perfect. Our first look so far here at New York City, and our first look so far of America in general. Incredible.
We as Europeans, and I do have to count myself in that as well, obviously, because I'm a European. I feel like a lot of times we sort of push Americans and the country, the United States, down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do feel like quality of life here is still pretty good, even though New York City is considered maybe one of the lesser quality cities. But
is that true? New York is considered one of the lesser quality cities. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty in America, but I didn't know New York as a whole was considered one of the lesser quality places. New Yorkers, jump in the chat and let me know.
I don't know. I'm actually really positively surprised.
If you're able to make some money, and you're able to, if you're willing to put in the work, and that is, I guess, the American dream. But I think if you're willing to put in the work here in the US, you can make things go your way. And
that's interesting. He said, one, if you put in the work, you can achieve the American dream. But he also said, if you're able to make money. So that's in some cases an oxymoron, because there are people that make money, but if the pricing is so high, and God forbid you have a family or something, then that can leave people not feeling like they're living the American dream.
You can really sort of build a life for yourself. I don't know about that, how effective that is in New York because of the cost of land here. But in a lot of the other states of America, especially out in the more rural parts, I'd say it's a lot more easy to do.
Yeah, I would imagine anywhere rural, the cost of living is less, it's easier to move around, and you may have a different quality of life. But I'm curious just to know what other states he may be referencing, because I live on the East Coast, but I'm a California girl to the heart, and nothing in California is affordable. It's ridiculous, really.
I feel like life seems less grim here than in the majority of European cities, to be honest. We just literally came from Madrid, and I don't know, New York City kind of looks better than Madrid or Lisbon, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Wow, Madrid is one of my next stops I want to go to, and she said New York is less grim. That's an interesting choice of words. She didn't say less vibrant, less active, less grim. Interesting.
That's one thing I will say. Every street you go down, it's like it's a different place, different vibe, different energy. And the people so far have been some of the friendliest that we've ever spoken to.
I agree with that. In the DC metropolitan area, there are a lot of neighborhoods like that. Southeast DC in particular. People from Southeast don't get all in my comments getting crazy, but I will say in some parts of DC, like Southeast in particular, there are some very nice homes. There are some very nice places. But then you can turn a corner and be in a totally seedy area or somewhere where you're no longer comfortable. So there's that.
As of 2026, you're putting Europe to shame when it comes to a lot of issues. Yes, there is huge immigration issues, border issues. In New York City alone, there is over 1 million undocumented migrants that are sort of scattered throughout the city. The majority of them appear to be in places like the Bronx and Queens and a lot of other places like that. Manhattan, I think, is a bit too pricey for them to be.
Yeah, when we're talking about immigration, typically it's somebody coming for a better life that doesn't have very much. So I don't think Manhattan would be one of their first stops. But
I mean, maybe we're going to change our minds, but as of right now, it's
beautiful.
Not as bad as it's portrayed online. I wouldn't move here, though.
Wouldn't live here.
I wouldn't live here, no.
Interesting. So this is my second video just about other people, how they view Americans and life in America. And the running theme outside of the gun control that people from other places have a problem with, and like a lot of Americans actually, it's just interesting what people say about somewhere you have lived your whole life and what they think of your native land. So I thought that was interesting. But also a running theme in all of these videos when people from the UK or Europeans give their thoughts on America, they typically end with, I wouldn't live there. No way, I'll stay where I am. So I thought that was interesting that you come, you see, you conquer, and then at the end, it's a no-go. I wouldn't be there. But travel buddies, I have a couple of questions for you. Have you ever traveled somewhere and realized that people saw Americans totally different than you expected? Have you ever hosted some international visitors and were you surprised about what they thought about the U.S.? Let me know, jump in the comments. And if there's anybody here watching new to America or on their way to America, what are your thoughts? What are your first impressions? What have you heard about America before you actually get here? And again, shout out to Luke and Naomi from Two Mad Explorers. I love their content. Travel buddies, let me know what you thought about this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to share to keep your people aware. And I'll catch you on the next one. I'm Keisha, and this is my corner.